You're watching the Matt to Matt Show, where we talk about... Excuse me.
Exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Where we talk about everything that's important to you. From science and technology to pop culture and social commentary. Featuring your hosts Right Matt, Left Matt, and the disembodied voice of Joe. This is where the conversation begins. Now let's have a chat. Matt to Matt. That was a bad joke, but I'm going to let it slide. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of a show. This is the the first official postseason. Last week, as I'm sure you all know, was our... I'm not used to this framing. Last week was our last episode of the last season of the Matt to Matt podcast. So tonight, to not disappoint our loyal viewership, we're here with our postseason show to we're going to dissect every move. We're going to do play-by-plays of every one of our 40-plus episodes from last year and pick out all the best ideas. So we're going to be streaming for about a week and a half, FYI. So we may have some guests joining us later.
Not Constantine.
Maybe. What? Oh, no.
Not Constantine is in the chat.
Of course. Of course he is. Where are you at, dude? I don't see... Hey, one watching right now. Whoa, no. See, that's what happens. 12... 2... Guys.
How come it's not counting me as a viewer?
I don't know. It's not counting... I mean, I'm up. Is there anybody in the chat?
Not Constantine.
Okay, I didn't know when that was retracted. Constantine's commentary. Message retracted. Retracted. Does it normally
Retracted?
say that? Yeah.
I don't see that.
It doesn't... Oh, okay. Well, I get to see it because I'm looking at the stream thing. Whoa. Oh, this wasn't updated.
Oh, yeah,
was it
We
updated?
got 3 or 4 watching. Yeah.
Why is... Sweet. Thanks for showing up, guys. Sorry, I just went to my streaming dashboard, and it showed the wrong thumbnail. It says the description and the title are all wrong, so I don't think they are. I think that's just, for some reason, this isn't updated properly. So tonight we have some things we're going to be talking about that are interesting. Let me check this and make sure it's actually working properly.
Yeah, got some interesting news going on.
Gotcha. Okay, that is far more accurate. All right, now he says we have 4 watching, which obviously we do.
Whoa, wait a minute.
4 people in
We
chat.
got non-Constantine and Constantine's commentary.
It's called sock puppets. Shh, just let it happen. That way he can argue with himself, let himself lose, and be like, oh, that darn real Constantine, he bested me. That's right, not Constantine. That's what sock puppets are for.
But we're glad to have you both, Constantine's commentary and not Constantine.
Yes.
I think.
Oh, gee. That dropped me pretty low. So, I don't know if you guys saw in the news, but SpaceX launched a big old rocket. It actually made it into space. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later.
There has been no obstruction. There has been no collusion.
We're going to talk about no obstruction, no collusion. What the heck was that? I was looking through my tabs, and a video started playing on CNN. I don't even know what it was. Oh. Another thing we'll get to later that I forgot was on the docket. That's why I keep them up. About suddenly CNN takes the word of George W. Bush seriously. It's now gospel. All right. That, and of course, the story of the night. Archaeologists discovered 60,000 structures in the Maya lowlands in Guatemala that they didn't know were there. They've been walking on them for decades, looking around, going, "Do you see anything? I don't see anything." Me neither. Turns out it was under them, using a special laser radar called LiDAR from an airplane. So we'll get to that as well.
That's a lot of structures.
60,000 is a lot. It's literally like the island of Manhattan they've been wandering on as far as scope of like area. It's just densely populated area. They've been like, I see nothing but jungle. Turns out it was underfoot. So, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. If you guys didn't catch our last episode last week, the VR Olympics, you missed out. I'm trying to chop down. It was 2.5 hour stream, so it was really fun. Had some people joining the show. Amor Pizza was there. Ben was there. It was a lot of fun. We had Joe face off with Matt in a bunch of virtual tests of strength and skill.
Virtual tests of strength.
Yes. Testing your virtual strength. And Joe virtually won. Well, he won
that was
virtually.
Kind of
no.
That was kind of handed to me.
Well, the judges who judged that you did well. I'm just saying, I was the only judge, but hey.
It was really fun.
It was very fun. Thank you, Ben. Well, I'm going to be cutting out some highlights of that because a lot of it was fun downtime, but
you're
downtime.
Cutting out the highlights so we don't get to see them?
Yes, because all we want is the fun downtime between interesting parts. Nobody cares about you guys fighting with swords. It's just me and Ben talking about Hot Pockets or whatever. Yes, Joe's sword play was something to battle with.
Thank you. I like battling with large swords. I don't know. This is something about it.
Yeah, the one you had at the end was like, what, 5 feet? It was like as long as you were tall. The big jagged one.
Oh, yeah.
The big one.
I don't know how large that was. I just felt like, one of those overpowered anime characters that
just
slug around
like
this
Sephiroth
ridiculous huge
with
swords.
what is his sword called? The guy from Final Fantasy. Sephiroth, right?
I don't know.
Final Fantasy?
I never played that.
Tisk tisk.
I wanted to.
You disappoint. Why are you taller than me? Hold on. There we go. That's better. I just looked at the stream and you're like way higher in frame than I am. That's what happens when you move everything around. Here we go.
Yeah, just grew a bit. Still taller.
Of course you are.
Maybe it's just maybe I just have a really tall torso, but my feet are really short. So when I stand up, you're taller.
That is a thing. My brother, speaking of Ben, he's taller than me. He's always been taller than me. But when we stand next to each other and we both reach up, I think I have about 2.5 inches on him. It's all in the fingers, I think. But he's like visually taller than me, and I can reach like an absurd amount higher than him based on how tall he is.
I bet you can reach an absurd amount of octaves.
Yeah, probably. So, all right, let's get into it then. Just by way of information, we're gonna be here every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Even though this is postseason, something will be happening here at 8:00 every Thursday. So just tune in, stay alerted and updated, and we'll let you guys know. We're shifting a couple of things, so nothing major. We will be here, and you'll find out. It's gonna be fun. All right,
sweet.
Let's just jump right into it.
With what word of the day?
SpaceX word of the day.
Oh,
I see no word of the day.
What's that word I wanted to look up?
Do that.
All right.
Because we must.
Panera? Apparently, I've been pronouncing this word incorrectly. I don't know why. It just sounds better. I thought it sounded better the way I said it, but I'm going to say it the correct way.
Let's hear it.
LiDAR.
How is it supposed to be?
No, isn't that what you said how it's supposed to be? I said I'm not going to say it the incorrect way.
That's how I heard it.
Is that the correct way to say it?
I'm now trying to figure out whether or not I heard it right. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure it's LiDAR. Anyway, someone can correct me again if I'm wrong. But that is a new... it's kind of analogous to radar. It's like the optical analog of radar, which uses intense pulses of laser light to measure the composition and structure of the atmosphere or other structures. And that's actually part of the.
It's relevant.
It's relevant because it's part of the big story with the 60,000 structures found in.
How were they found?
South America. Yes, we used.
Literally.
Yes, we used LiDAR to find them. Did 10 years of work? It can now be done in a couple weeks.
Yes. So that word is
LiDAR.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
LIDAR.
Hey, what do you know? It's actually formatted properly. LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging. So, yeah. Via airplane with special lasers, they can map geological, I don't know. But yeah, you can see the dense objects, the density of an object. So, yeah, that's what we're going to touch on in the structures later. That's how they were found. Where are we at? That's what happens when you move everything up to your living room and then move everything down again. A couple of my things are out of place. One moment. Ta-da! There we go. All right. SpaceX. Let's dig into that for a bit. So if you guys didn't know, SpaceX successfully... Ooh, quiet now. They successfully launched...
Have to keep our raving fans at bay.
Yes. Shh. Everybody calm. We're live. They actually launched Falcon Heavy. It's test flight into space. LiDAR. Funny. Sorry. my eye caught the chat.
I get it now.
Yeah, my eye caught the chat.
Get it. Set up a LiDAR next to Trump.
Yes, Ben says, can verify Matt can reach further, yet I'm taller. I bet you could touch the top of your head as a baby then. No, but I could touch the top of his. That didn't make sense. Sorry. Someone should set up a LiDAR next to Trump. Haha, I'll be pinging all day long. Very funny. It's like a gaydar. I can't believe I didn't make that connection yet. Yeah, it's like it's a detector for lies. Clever. Yeah, so they launched this rocket, the Falcon Heavy test flight by SpaceX. That's Elon Musk's thing. Beautiful.
Is that the one with the car on top of it?
That was the one with the car on top of it. They sent a Tesla into space. Why?
Because they can.
He was quoted as saying, "Yeah, because they can." They can. Did you see what he was doing on Twitter with flamethrowers? This company was selling flamethrowers. He was buying them.
The Boring Company.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's like.
That is a great name for someone selling flamethrowers because it's like completely opposite. A flamethrower is like one of the most interesting things you can have, and it's not It's not supposed to be boring as in uninteresting. They were a like drilling company, but it's just funny.
Yeah. So my favorite part of this was the fact that the boosters came back down. I don't think it's even in this video.
Is there's still a car on top of it?
At this point? Yeah, definitely. My favorite part was that the little booster rockets came back down to Earth and just landed like they were like, okay, who's next? Like it was an amusement park ride. You know, and the little slingshot ball just kind of settles to the ground and it's like, who wants to climb in next? Wait for it. Dang. The coolest thing about this is the fact that Elon Musk is like, we should do this, and I can, so I'm going to, which is good. You know, somebody with that much, and I've said this on the show several times. Every time we talk about wealth inequality, the fact that rich people aren't just sitting on their riches. Elon Musk could live just a very lavish life, boring on a beach somewhere, sipping pina coladas endlessly until he rots away and dies. But instead he's doing this, which is expensive and complicated because he wants to. And it's a good thing a man like him has the wherewithal. Whew, man, these things look so violent.
What, the rocket?
Yeah, just, you know, all the burning and everything. Violent. It's always so, like, violent. But yeah, the fact that he can decide, hey guys, we're going to do this. And do it. It's just awesome.
Maybe he's just the exception, though.
Well, that's it. Well, if you look at any large scale thing like I don't know, Walmart or Apple, they weren't there we go. Disconnect. They weren't started by poor people, or at least they weren't started by just poor people at the time. It takes. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I started on a thought while I was watching a video of a rocket. What I was trying to say was not that you can't be poor and start a business. What I was saying is, in order to continue growing that business, you have to keep reinvesting what you make. Otherwise, your business will stay stagnant, and as your profits rise and you just fill your pillowcase, your company will not grow. The fact that companies grow to unreasonable sizes like Apple or Walmart or McDonald's is because they reinvest, which they don't have to do. The reason they employ millions of people is because they pour money back into it. So some people, make a Walmart where you can buy $5 coffee tables. Some people make restaurants where you can buy $1 double cheeseburger, and some people send cars to space, all because they can. Whew. That's awesome.
Nice.
Very cool. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I like Elon Musk. It's because he's not like a bureaucrat saying, "Hey, here's why I need government funding to do all of my stuff. Give me people's hard-earned money so I can try something." And I joked about it earlier, but the fact that the rockets are reusable, the boosters, like that's not a government thing. That's a capitalist thing. I don't have to pay for boosters. Why can't we reuse our boosters? It's like when McDonald's just picks up the fries off the floor and puts them back in the fry case because it's like, hey, we're trying to save a buck over here. It's just like that. Just like that. So,
speaking of fast foods, did you hear about that? Or did you see that video of the Burger King made? The net neutrality analogy with the burgers?
That was so stupid. Oh, Yes.
Sounds
yes,
like
I did.
You've seen it and you formed your opinions already.
No. Like, whether or not... Okay, regardless of your opinion on net neutrality.
No, I just mean the opinions of the video.
Yeah. Why, Burger King? Why? Burger King is not an internet company. They're not an internet-based business. What business do they have trying to spread a message about net neutrality? Why are they spending money trying to... Honest question.
I think you answered your question in the last statement. You said because they can.
No. They're trying to seem cool. They probably have a guy in charge of their advertising who's like, what's a cool thing on the internet this week? Net neutrality. Who's for it and who's against it? Oh, millennials. Who do we want in our restaurant? So let's make this silly hidden camera video about how, you paid for a slow lane burger, and so your burger won't be out for a while because you didn't buy the expensive burgers that come out quickly. Get it? Because that's relevant to burgers and burger making. But except it's not. So the only reason they would do that is either they're politically motivated, like not politically, but politically motivated, or they're just trying to seem hip and cool. And either way, I am less likely to shop at Burger King now. Like, just because they tried to show how woke they were. It's sad. Speaking of bad commercials, I'm going to go on a bad commercial.
That was pretty funny.
Bet for here. What?
Your exposition on that.
Okay, what? Do you disagree?
I don't know. I don't know the reason why they did it. I actually thought it would be really stupid, and then I watched it and I was like, I guess they're trying to make a point. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but I don't like Burger King, and I don't really, I don't shop. I don't eat there ever, and I don't care. So there was just something interesting of note that I thought.
Yep. Ben says virtue signaling. Yeah. These places who make crappy frozen beef burgers and sell them for as cheap as possible while paying their employees minimum wage to flip burgers. No upward mobility, and they're like, yeah, but like your internet speeds though. That's not fair. Whatever, guys. Whatever. So, it's a bit late.
It's bedtime already?
Yeah. So if you don't know this song, it's a song by Nirvana. This is a T-Mobile commercial from the Super Bowl. This one rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, and not because of the content, but for the same reason. What does this have to do with your company? This is a T-Mobile commercial. Aw, cute babies.
Welcome to the world, little ones. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. But you come with open minds and the instinct that we are equal. Some people may see your differences and be threatened by them. But you are unstoppable. You'll love who you want. You'll demand fair and equal pay. You will not allow where you come from to dictate where you're going. You will be heard, not dismissed. You will be connected, not alone. Change starts now.
What does this have to do with T-Mobile?
I have no idea.
Why is this a T-Mobile commercial? If they're not just pandering, if this isn't 100% pandering of, hey, did we hit all your buzzwords? Let's see. We said equal pay. We said marry who you want. We said we be connected. Color of skin, where you come from. We talked about immigration. Let's see how much we can shove into this commercial while throwing babies past you with a Nirvana song. If you read the lyrics to that song, they're kind of weird. I don't know why they picked that one. But are you with us? What do you think that means, Joe?
Do you agree with the same things that we are portraying here?
Does that seem like that? I'm not going to ask. I'm like I'm asking. I'm leading the witness, not to ask prying questions, but are you with us? Doesn't sound like join us, help us. It's like they're pointing a gun at you and saying, "Are you friend or foe?" You know. So let's see. This commercial costs $0 to make. Virtue signaling. Yeah. Amor Pizza. I missed that one, but I laughed at it. Yeah. The one commercial also be a Tide Pod commercial. Burger King. This was extremely creepy, especially coming from a company that collaborated with the NSA. This commercial costs $0 to make. Ben says virtue signaling. ... Amor, a commercial about brainwashing. What they're saying is that if you use their service or phone, you're sleeping. So it's not a campaign ad. Yeah, maybe T-Mobile is running for Congress. Maybe. But just it's hard to see that and not just be disgusted and turned off. It's the worst part is they're taking a message that, like, okay, you can argue those points. We can have a discussion about whether you're portraying, whether you're playing up to people's, cutesy feels or not. Here's a baby. Are you really not going to let them love who they want to love? Which is taking an argument about, like, the nature of family and, like, civilization and progress and, child's well-being, and boiling that down into, well, we're not talking about gay marriage. We're just talking about these babies who want to love whoever they want to love. Are you against that? Are you with us? They're turning it into such a it's propaganda. I'm trying. There's no reason that T-Mobile would do this to try and sell phones or their service.
You don't think so? Put cute babies and then put your name in front of it?
Cute babies, divisive language. They are picking a side and then they're saying, are you with us? So what they're saying is, here, we've drawn a line in the sand. T-Mobile's over here. I don't know where Verizon's at. They might be on the other side of that line. I don't know. They might not want people to love who they want to love. They might care where you're from to judge where you're going. I'm not saying they do, but we don't. So are you with us? Meaning join the T-Mobile club. But what they end up doing is saying, here are a bunch of really overly simplistic stances that a lot of people don't agree with, and then they're saying, that's us. Take it or leave it.
Isn't that what most advertisements are?
No. No, because they're telling you it's possible. They shouldn't care your political affiliation. They should just go shop from us. White supremacists, T-Mobile will go, I don't care, buy my phone. As long as you're not call your white supremacist buddies with it, whatever. I don't care. I'm not here to tell you what to think or what to say. I'm just here to give you a way to say it. That should be their job. They're allowed to think otherwise, but what they're doing is they're alienating part of their audience.
Well, I mean, you could
just I'm sorry. My mic is too high. Okay, well, there you go. That's good to know. Hey, how's that? Is that any better? So what I just said, essentially, let me sum up. This movie will turn off white supremacists from wanting to buy their phones. Also, I don't want to buy their phones. It's not what I meant. So let me just draw that circle before anyone else does and refute it. No.
I can think of another.
Thank you.
What about like?
Are we too quiet? That's my. Let me know if I need to boost everything overall now, because the meter's looking low. You were saying?
Okay, well, you can think of another example with brands like they say American made. I mean, that's also alienating a certain part of their audience.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not also not have a place in advertising?
Yeah, but I think that's more of a unifying message than although we saw in the State of the Union, was it last week, that you can say "Go America" and half the Congress will just sit there and be like, "Boo," even if you say "Let's go America." The idea is that's a unifying thing. If there's one thing Americans can agree on, it's America. That shouldn't be controversial. It's American made because you're American. I'm American. We're all American, right? We live in America. This is America. Let's every single person within this country, that's what they're trying to do. The one thing, it's like the weather. It's the one thing we all have in common. We are here. We're experiencing this weather. We're in the same spot. Come by my cars. Why? We live in the same country? That's as broad as you can get. So that's...
See
they might think they're getting okay, cool, thank you. They might where's my cursor? They might think that, that's the other question. Do they think that they're appealing to the largest possible audience?
I don't know. Where was this ad aired?
Super Bowl.
Oh, this was the Super Bowl ad.
The Super Bowl, yeah, this was their Super Bowl ad. Real tech line in. There we go.
Were they figuring that?
Wow, that's super quiet.
Were they figuring that?
Check. Okay, hold on. I think that might actually be too loud now. Is that too loud? Check. Wow,
it's fine with me.
Quite a boost.
I'm not the audience.
Yeah, we're not. It wouldn't change what we're doing. All right. Well, that might be a little loud now, but it should sound okay. Hopefully. All right. So yeah, either they're intentionally, to gain brownie points and to virtue signal, they're intentionally alienating a section of their audience, or they're thinking that section of the audience or viewership or demographic just is so small it's worth trying to appeal to other people to lose that tiny little thing. So I don't know. All right. Cool. Thanks, man. Besides sound checking, did I miss anything else in the chat? No, I didn't. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that that bugged me a little bit, and I don't know why they had that song going under it. Back up.
What's the name of the song?
In the Sun? No. Oh, that's not
Sunbeam.
No, it's Nirvana.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
Seasons in the Sun.
All apologies, that's what it is. My bad. All right.
Maybe it's called All Apologies.
Yeah. Well, they probably looked at
Sounds very apologetic.
Okay. So here are the lyrics to that lullaby they were playing. What else should I be? All apologies. What else should I say? Everyone is gay. What else should I write? I don't have the right. What else should I be? All apologies. I'll take all the blame. Aqua, seafoam, shame, sunburn with freezer burn, choking on the ashes of her enemy. Weird song. I don't know. I mean, the fact that they picked a Nirvana song to play as a lullaby, they're just trying to appeal to a crowd, obviously, because those lyrics don't seem to say anything about T-Mobile or babies. I forgot to close that closet.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you can hear the water in the
Oh,
pipe over there running. What was? Oh, jeez. Quest, Legend. I forget. It's gonna play. I saw a commercial earlier and I forgot to write down the name of it. It was one of those commercials for one of those apps, for your phone, where they always have like somebody playing it where they're trying to pretend it's cool. It's usually a girl. Have you seen those where they're like, there's some like 22-year-old girl on her phone playing a League of Legends style game, and she's like, okay, so I just got this character, and it's like really cool. I love this character. I play them all the time. I play games all the time. This is like my favorite game. I'm really good at it. And then, like, that's really poor acting, really low budget. I mean, they're for apps. Like, they're ads for free apps, but they do not sell very well because it's the game, and then there's like it's supposed to look like a Twitch streamer, I guess. But it's just somebody in the corner, and they always sound so bad. I'm sure you guys come across them occasionally on our monetized videos, which happen, I swear. Where was that other thing? All right.
So you mentioned something about George W. Bush.
Yeah. My windows are scattered. George W. Bush. Just wanted to briefly touch on the irony of this. CNN says... George W. Bush says there is pretty clear evidence Russia meddled in the election. So that's pretty irrefutable. If George W. Bush says that there's pretty clear evidence of WMDs in Iraq, I mean, of meddling, Russia meddling in the election, I mean, who's gonna not believe him when he talks about there being pretty clear evidence? Certainly not CNN. They would never criticize George Bush. Of course not. Just found that a little bit, little too ironic to pass up. Okay. Oof, man. That's what happens when you start late. Show just zips by. I'm trying to get out of here before Matt realizes we changed times and shows up and crawls down to the basement. So, all right.
You want him to stay left?
Yeah. Left, Matt. That's right. All right. Exclusive. This is National Geographic. This is one of my favorite stories of this year so far. What's Megalopus? How would you pronounce that word? Megalopus? Megalopolis? Megalopolis. Megalopolis. That's what it is. Megalopolis. New word, everybody. Megalopolis. It's like a Cosmopolis.
Yeah, Megalopolis. Megalopolis. That is a tongue twister. It's
Yeah.
not very fun.
I thought when I first saw it, I glanced. I thought it was Megapolis or something like that. And I'm like, I can deal with that word. Megalopolis. All right.
It sounds almost like that elf from Lord of the Rings.
Which one? Legolas. If he was Greek, Legolopolis.
You ever see that picture, like Legolas?
I have.
Legless, Lego, Legolas.
I have, yes. Send me that picture. All right. Exclusive. Laser scans reveal Maya Megalopolis. Megalopolis. Let me try again. Exclusive. Laser scans reveal Maya Megalopolis below Guatemalan jungle. Nailed it. A vast interconnected network of ancient cities was home to millions more people than previously thought. And I'm just going to say up front, one of my favorite things... Is that you? Is that me?
Unbelievable.
That's
you.
me.
I'm muted.
That's loud. Sorry about that, folks. One of my favorite things about discoveries is, and take this how you will, but the idea that we are so sold on an idea where they say, millions more people than previously thought. But if you had asked them a year ago, hey, how many people lived here? They would give you a definitive number, and they would typically be like, yeah, that's what there is. If you look around, that's what it is. But the fact that there is always, yes, the music was an added dramatic effect. There's always things that we don't know, and we don't know them. So I always love discoveries like this because it just shows that anything's possible. There's a lot of things we don't know yet to be discovered. And it'll be interesting to see what next pops out of nowhere. So let's look a little closely at this. We talked at the top of the show, word of the day, the LiDAR. Laser technology lets them do digital scans of the landscape through the forest canopy to reveal ancient ruins below, showing the Maya cities such as Tikal were much larger than ground-based research had suggested. And by ground-based research, they mean people wandering through the jungle and not seeing anything with their with the naked eye. Thank you. In what's being hailed as a let me zoom that a little bit more. In what's being hailed as a major breakthrough in Maya archaeology, researchers have identified the ruins of more than 60,000 houses, palaces, elevated highways, and other human-made features that have been hidden for centuries under the jungles of northern Guatemala. Using a revolutionary technology known as LiDAR, short for light detection and ranging, scholars digitally removed the tree canopy from aerial images of the now unpopulated landscape, revealing the ruins of a sprawling pre-Columbian civilization that was far more complex and interconnected than most Mayan specialists had supposed. So they show... they show a map. This is where we're looking at right here. So this is a map of what has been... Where are we at? There we go. This is a map of the area, the Maya Biosphere Reserve, where they've been doing all this archaeological work. Is the... Oh, you can't see my cursor. Is the large outline, as you can see. The dark areas, if you look down at this legend down here, the dark areas are where they have scanned... with the targeted LiDAR zones. And as you can see, these Mayan cities there, those are the ones that they have found previously. And they've scanned a bunch of areas around there. They're going to be scanning the whole thing eventually. Don't remember if I saw the Russian ads. Did I miss something about Russian ads? Sorry about that. So they're going to be scanning the whole thing. Currently, they have mapped more than 800 square miles of the Maya Biosphere Reserve in the Petén region of Guatemala, producing the largest LiDAR dataset ever obtained for archaeological research. So, yes, these results suggest that Central America supported an advanced civilization that was at its peak some 1,200 years ago, more comparable to sophisticated cultures such as ancient Greece or China than the scattered and sparsely populated cities populated city-states that ground-based research had long suggested. So, they did this completely changes the way that we view the Mayan civilization as far as their technological advancement. They had agriculture. It says intensive agriculture, complex irrigation, terracing systems, feeding masses of workers. Down here it says, this is my favorite part. The ancient Maya never used the wheel or beasts of burden, yet this was a civilization that was literally moving mountains. Interesting. So, do you think we're going to find any wheels in there?
I mean, unless they had something better.
Like, I mean, they've been literally standing on buildings and not knowing it. They may be like, I don't know what this thing was used for. It's like a better wheel. Maybe they pre-invented the wheel instead of reinvented the wheel. Hey,
pre-invented it.
Yeah, but I mean, they're looking at where's the picture they had? Yeah, see this pyramid here. If you look here, right, that's what the scan shows. They overlaid it. Obviously, it's not what it looks like. That's a pyramid. But here it just looks like, vegetation grown over like a rock. Yeah. The unaided eyes see only jungle and an overgrown mound, but LiDAR and augmented reality software reveal an ancient Maya pyramid.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You can't see my screen today. I didn't get that set up. Most people had been comfortable with population estimates of around 5 million. With this new data, it's no longer unreasonable to think that there were 10 to 15 million people there, including many living in low-lying swampy areas that many of us had thought uninhabitable. So when they're like, we may have to rethink everything other than the fact that people were here. We don't even know how many. We don't know what parts of land they were actually living on. Turns out the whole stretches of land we didn't think were habitable were. So it just turns on its head a lot of the, as I said, preconceived notions of what we thought we knew about the Mayan civilization. And of course, discoveries like this are always exciting because, like I said, what else don't we know? What else tomorrow are we randomly going to find oh, wait, you saying there were electrical generators buried in ancient Rome? Oh, I guess we just never looked for them. Yeah. What's interesting is if they said these were heavily trafficked causeways, wide enough to suggest they were heavily trafficked and used for trade and other forms of regional interaction. These highways were elevated to allow easy passage even during rainy seasons. In a part of the world where there is usually too much or too little precipitation, the flow of water was meticulously planned and controlled via canals, dikes, and reservoirs. Like, that's significant. Look at this picture, right? Look at that. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that's like extensive. And that's not like, oh, here's kind of a representation of what we kind of think. Like, this is what the scan shows. They run over and they go, oh, hey, look, there's like a lot of complex stuff here. So yeah, 60,000 previously unknown Maya structures. Vast network of cities, fortifications, farms, and highways. The fortifications is, they call it down here, ramparts, terraces, and fortresses, defensive walls. Warfare wasn't only, there it is. Warfare wasn't only happening toward the end of the civilization, said Garrison. It was large scale and systematic, and it endured over many years. Wow. So what's interesting is, do you remember when we you weren't here, I wasn't here, but do you remember when we like fought the Indians and they were like scattered and there were like lots of different tribes of Indians?
By Indians you mean Native Americans, right?
Yeah, obviously. As long as we're being technical here. The Native Americans, and they didn't have forts. There weren't these giant cities of Native Americans with big forts and things when we got to North America and the Plymouth Rock.
Yeah.
Imagine if we'd landed like here when this was just buzzing and we were like, hey, we're going to take over, okay? Like, there was nothing like this when we got here. Right? It's just so crazy different. Because obviously,
you had the Aztec civilization when the Spanish.
That's what I'm saying. Like when the can't I think of the word? Not pioneers, pilgrims. When the pilgrims showed up and they were, hey, let's hang out with the Indians for a while, and then eventually that turned sour. The civilization there wasn't like already booming like this, and even by the time Columbus and what's that guy's name? The Spanish guy, Cortez. You just said when they got there, they were like a shell of what was already here. Like they described cities and buildings and things like this, but they weren't quite this vast. So, what's interesting is I was reading something about how when these places, what was left of these places, were conquered, they actually started building. Cortez and started building buildings on the existing structures. So like a lot of the a lot of the architecture from then was actually just like the walls and roof were torn down, and then they built like a Catholic church on top of, or whatever church that was at the time, on top of like the base of these Mayan temples and things like that. So a lot of that was actually just converted and lost its original structure. Where was that? Yeah, this was my favorite. Was my favorite quote from this whole article. After decades of combing through the forests, no archaeologists had stumbled across these sites. And it begs the question, and I said this to Joe earlier, but it begs the question: what were they doing? If there were cities and cities, thousands, tens of thousands of structures, where were they looking for things if not underground? Because it doesn't say these were like hundreds of feet under dirt. These were like overgrown in vegetation, and they have to like hack through with a machete or something. But it says they combed through, and they didn't find any of these large buildings, fortresses, structures, temples, palaces, highways, irrigation canals. They just thought, oh, this is all forest. In fact, somebody had said, and it was in a different article, one of the archaeologists said he'd been standing on this mound, thought it was a hill, in 2010. He was standing on that mound, like just looking, like surveying the area, going, I don't see anything interesting. He was standing on a pyramid, and they had to scan it with a laser before he went, oh, yeah, that pyramid-shaped mound. All right, so it's easy to sit here at my desk and go, come on, you're in the jungles.
Armchair
of Central
field archaeology.
Armchair archaeology, exactly. You're in the jungles. You can't look down and see. But I have a hard time not picturing an archaeologist with his hands in his pockets, like wandering through the jungle, kicking over stones with his boots, going like, no, I don't see anything, because they make it sound.
Jungles are pretty,
I know, that's what I'm saying. I have a hard time not picturing them being like, I don't know. Well, where is it? It's like when your boss is like, go look for structures, and he's like, did you look? You're like, yeah, I mean, I looked and stuff. Like I walked a little bit and didn't see much, so I came home.
Or you can even take it further to like the kid. You know, you tell the kid to go find something, like go get my phone.
He's
like,
sitting in the same spot.
Like, where is you mean that phone? And they like point right to on top of the table. It's like, where did that come from?
Oh, I didn't see that there.
Witchcraft.
Oh wow, yeah. So apparently these archaeologists are just overgrown children, is what we're saying. No, but it's fun. It's fun to harp on them about. Oh, come on, you didn't see that. But at the same time, hey, it's fantastic. Look, we have all these new discoveries, and I brought this up to Matt earlier. What do you think? What do you think we could find in other parts of the world, or even in like North America, if there are parts? Now, this is overgrown with a lot of like jungle, thick, heavy jungle overgrowth. But like, imagine if we can shoot like, I don't know. Imagine if there were spots in like the open plains of Wyoming where like you scan it and it's like, oh, there's like thousands of dead bodies of bones here, like just below the surface where the wind just, I don't know, swept dirt over it or something. We never thought to look, but like a foot underground, there's just an entire war was waged here with some of those 15 million people. I don't know. Scan Alaska. Yeah, the Alaskan interior, except at no point in history did anything interesting go on in the interior of Alaska. It's dense like that. But for similar reasons, you don't go in there, but a lot of it's like mosquitoes and such.
In Alaska?
Oh, yeah. Deadly. Deadly. The interior of Alaska, nobody like lives in like hundreds, maybe thousands of square miles of it's just...
You weren't joking about the mosquitoes?
I wasn't. No, they'll like suck you dry.
What temperature is it?
They'll kill you. In the summertime. I'm not saying like the north, the interior of Alaska.
Like 60 degrees in the summer.
Yes. The Hill Cumorah scan would be interesting. Yeah. So, like I said, let's just systematically scan everything. Can you imagine?
Yeah, well, we have to get LiDAR technology to be cheaper. It's really, really expensive right
Next year, they'll have a LiDAR attachment for your phone. You can walk around with a VR headset and just be like, and scan. Like the new metal detectors. The new metal detectorists will be walking around with like VR headsets, or AR, I guess it would be, on the beach with like a LiDAR gun, and they're just like, oh, there's a truck like 10 feet under the sand.
It'd be almost like you seen Guardians of the Galaxy, that first one, when at the very beginning, when he puts on that little thing that, he lands on the planet and...
I'm sorry. Who? Start that over?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
Neither one. They're both on Netflix, and they're on my list of like I gotta watch those for context of
well, in
conversations
the very
like
beginning,
this.
he has like a sort of VR upgrade thing. He lands on like this dead planet, and it kind of shows him.
Oh, it's like an overlay?
Well, yeah, it's like an overlay.
Oh, okay. It's like an AR
him what
thing.
was there before
Nice.
from the ruins. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Boating. You. Mute tab. All right. This is our last thing of the day. But just in summation, I love discoveries like that specifically because they say there are a lot of things we don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. Just be open to the possibilities of interesting things that we think we know. I've said a million times, how much do we really know about what goes on in the depths of the ocean? The deepest depths. A lot less than we should. A lot less than we should.
Yeah, we know less than 90% of what goes on in the oceans.
We know less than 90%. That's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't know you were being smart aleck. I'm like.
we know less than. I'm sorry. My mind flipped it. We know less than 10%.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like there are a lot of things we don't know about what goes on here. So it's interesting. I'm excited. Like I said, maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll find out that in every basement, everybody just had bars of gold. That's what their money was. They just had big old hunks of gold. And when they start going through these buildings, they're going to find everybody had a safe filled with gold. And the safe was made of like cheap wood, like easily broken into. Like what? I don't know. Who knows? We don't. We didn't even know the buildings were there, let alone. I just want to see them find like beasts of burden and wheels, since we're just like, yeah, well, they didn't have beasts of burden or wheels, so oh they did. They just kept them in their basement in the safe. I don't know. Anyway, all right, last thing. It's pretty stupid. All right, last thing of the night before we leave. Big topic of the show. Legolas.
Oh.
Legolas. Legless. Legolas. Lego my ego. No. Lego my Lego ego. Legless Legolas. Dang it. Legolas's Legolas. Okay, that one was easy. Man, Lego my Lego ego. Legless Legolas. That's something else. Yeah, that's. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. All right. Any final thoughts from the chat? I'm going to say that now to give you guys a sec so that before I sign off and everything, not on everything. Before I sign off and everything, you actually have a chance to hear that, respond, and it gets back to me. You're welcome.
So what are we doing next week?
I don't know. Maybe next week we'll... I would never actually do it. So I have no problem. I'm going to tell you my secret plan on air.
Oh, I see.
But the week we weren't here, I forget what week that was. I wanted so bad to just come down here, turn all the cameras on and the lights, but have nobody sitting in any of the chairs, and then just like hit go. And just like cameras are on, lights are on, nothing's happening, and then an hour later just like end the stream. So like obviously nobody would just sit there and be like, I wonder what'll happen. But like you just scan through the whole video and it's like, wait, is there really an hour live streamed of an empty basement? Because we weren't here. Like we weren't having a show, but I was like, oh, we'll just stream anyway. But I wouldn't do that.
You gotta put something interesting like a hamster.
I would want to.
Or something.
Yeah. Or
hamster cam.
Or I could just put like the first line of our intro on repeat.
Anybody hear about that hamster story?
Oh no. Let's see. Well, we got a minute.
I'm curious to hear what people's thoughts are, because I mean, it can go both ways. It could be that.
Oh, that's full screen.
That girl is making it up because she thought she was being treated unfairly, or Spirit Airlines could be.
Women never lie about things like that.
Oh,
they are incapable of dishonesty.
You say the same thing with men.
I know. Sorry. The post I put on Facebook, I got some good reaction from that.
So if anyone's wondering what I'm talking about, there's
I was trying to find it.
College student, I think, who had an emotional support hamster, and she is on record saying that she called the airline beforehand to say to ask if it was okay that she could bring her hamster along with her. It was inside of one of those rolly balls, and she was assured that it would be okay. So she had brought it, didn't have, rides were hours away. So when it came time to get on the plane, airline's employee told her that she could not bring her hamster along, and told her to either release it into the wild or flush it down the toilet. And she stated that she felt that would be cruel to let her hamster freeze to death outside, so she thought the only thing she could do under pressure in that situation was to end its life by flushing it down the toilet. And Spirit Airlines alleges that its employee did not recommend that to her. And I want to dig down. I want to know what actually happened.
I just typed emo, and it auto-completed emotional support hamster.
Yeah, I mean, you have people like just taking a different direction. Like, why does she even have an emotion? Like, why is an emotional support hamster? Because there was another news with Delta Airlines. A lady tried to take an emotional support peacock with her on the plane. That is obviously a different animal and much bigger and disruptive. But it's an airline's. Yeah, it's an airline's policy. If they allow them or they don't allow them. I think my issue is that she was told allegedly she was told one thing, and then when she got there, she was told another thing, and she didn't have any way to deal with it.
It was not the airplane toilet. That was my first thought when I heard someone say flushed it down the toilet.
Yeah, they wouldn't let her on the airplanes.
Yeah, this was a don't come on the plane with that thing. She's like, well, I can't. What do you want me to do with it? And they're like, flush it down the toilet or set it free. One of the two. If I was the guy working, was this story true? If the story were true, if I was the guy working, I'd be like, yeah, I'll ship it to you. Like, I'll hold it and then tell me where you're going. I'll ship it. Like, I would
go in the second mile. Yeah.
Like, I couldn't say, oh, kill your animal.
Yes, Ben, you can't take it on the flush it.
Yeah,
and PETA is all over her about it and saying how cruel, like that is such cruel treatment and stuff. Actually, I don't know if it was PETA, but PETA supporters. Yeah, I think, I mean, having time to think about it, not like 30 seconds to decide what to do because the plane's boarding. I would have just given it to someone at the airport to take care of or do something with. I'm sure someone had a kid who could have. I mean, this is college student under stress, family and friends miles or hours away, plane's leaving, you have to do something. Anyway, it was, needless to say, it was probably very emotionally traumatic.
I mean, it's bad enough to be like, hey, flush your pet hamster down the toilet. She's like, but it's my pet hamster. And they're like, you can't bring it on the flight. Oh, but I love this hamster. It's literally there so that she can, like, be calmed, Like, and think whatever you want about somebody who wants to have a little hamster with them to feel emotionally supportive. Look at it in the most, like, give her as little credit as possible. She thinks she needs that. If you want to look at it this way, she thinks she needs the hamster to be emotionally supported. So in her little bubble of her brain, the guy says, "Oh, that's your emotional crutch. Flush it down the toilet." Like that's way worse than, I don't know. It's like way worse than just kill your animal. It's kill this. Let's put you in a stressful situation by removing your stress relieving animal. I don't know. I've stated that in like 6 different ways. I just can't believe of all the bad ways to say kill your animal. It's here's a stressful situation. We're going to put you in an even more stressful situation and say remove your stress reliever. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, plane tickets aren't terribly cheap.
Oh, and they won't let you back out. Oh, I had to cancel my flight. Why? Because they wanted me to kill my animal? Oh, we're not going to give you a refund. Like they
unless you
would
have
not give you a refund.
Flight insurance or something.
Yeah.
No one.
Nobody
I mean,
gets
if you're on
flight
Spirit Airlines, you're a college student, you're poor. I mean, Spirit's one of the cheapest. Spirit and Frontier, they're like the super economy class planes.
Yep. Yeah, it was probably. They were probably never mind. Yeah, they that's.
I think Frontier would have let him on. Frontier likes animals.
Yeah, that does sound pretty rough. If that is what happened, I don't know why she would like. Why would she lie?
Yeah, I mean, people can be vindictive. You know, something didn't happen right. Well, I'm gonna make you look like an animal, or animal killer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did it say where she was going?
I'm sure it did. I don't remember.
Airline for a
I don't
flight
remember any details.
from Baltimore to South Florida. Dwarf hamster. I had a dwarf hamster. It died.
From Baltimore?
No.
There was actually... Oh, it wasn't from Baltimore? No, I mean, the airplane was leaving from Baltimore. Sorry.
I had a hamster.
That's
Was
a
it from
little confusing.
Baltimore? I had a hamster from Baltimore. Maybe
No,
they knew each other.
there's actually another... There's a headline where I was skimming the other day. A plane slid off of the... what do you call it? Tarmac?
Yeah.
A plane slid off of the tarmac in Baltimore, and it was breaking news. So they hadn't had a chance to investigate why it happened, but it's just something I noticed. Oh, it's from Baltimore. It's a lot of. I said that's two big news articles from the same. I wonder if it's the same airport. It's probably different. Baltimore probably has multiple airports, right?
I don't think so. Well, there's one like halfway between Baltimore and DC. That's like a DC airport. Technically.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, maybe it's the same airport.
I think maybe.
Notorious.
Yeah, I don't know why I just saw this. Woman denied emotional support Peacock on United flight.
Oh, it was United?
Support Peacock?
I thought it was Delta.
It says United on the headline.
Oh.
I'm not going to dig into that. It said she skipped her flight and tried to rent a car instead, but said she was too young to rent one. That's a fact.
The college student or the lady with the peacock?
The college student.
Okay.
Sorry, I keep forgetting you can't see my screen. Yeah, we're still on that same story. It was just to also see this story about emotional support peacock.
Yeah.
That's false. There's no emotional support peacocks. That's.
Oh, apparently there is.
No. Okay, I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm saying they shouldn't. It's one thing to say I need a little furry, warm, living creature that I can nuzzle noses with and feel better. Not that I'm relating to that at all. But like I need a bird with giant plumage to feel better. Get a pop-up book. Get a pop-up book. I'm stressed. It just pops up a little plumage as you open the pop-up book. You don't need it. That's silly.
Maybe the lady really liked peacocks. I mean, I really like pangolins. I'd be happy with an emotional support pangolin.
Yes, but if they said, "Sir, you're not bringing that animal on the flight," would you find it unreasonable for them to say no?
No, and
there you go.
But I mean, I would find it unreasonable if I had called ahead and they said yes, and then when I got there, they said no.
Yes, but
that would have been really bad.
I agree, but there is a difference. How big is a pangolin?
Depends on its age.
One you would carry around because it was alive for several months. An average adult.
You can compare it to a cat or a dog.
Cat or a dog. Okay, so if they're like, you can't bring your cat or dog, it's a little. But literally, you can fit a dwarf hamster in your pocket. I have done it. I used to have a dwarf hamster. You can put it in your pocket and water through security. I'm not saying she should have or that she wouldn't get in trouble for it or anything, but it's so inconsequential to everyone else on the airplane other than the fact that it's technically an animal.
That was
it's
actually
not like
my
it's
second
gonna bark.
idea.
It's not like it's gonna squawk, and it's too big, and it's like a snack you don't eat.
That was my second idea. Like hide it under your, or like put it under your shirt and pretend you're pregnant because it's in the hamster ball.
Yeah. That's sad. I don't mean to laugh, but that's sad. Yeah, I don't see why a person would do that instead of like if this story wasn't true, why would she like flush it and somebody's like, "Where's your hamster?" And she's like, "I flushed it." And they're like, "Well, why?" And she's like, they made me." I don't see why she'd be pressured into lying about that. What would she gain from lying? I don't know. It's not like she's like started a GoFundMe to buy a new hamster. Did she start a GoFundMe to buy a new hamster?
You get
because they're $12.
You get fire rain down on you for cruelty to animals.
Who knows that you flushed it?
I don't know. Whoever was expecting you to have it, probably pretty well known for having an emotional support hamster. It's very unusual. In my
but
mind.
Seriously, like, where did your emotional support
yeah.
hamster go? Oh, it died. Why? Because I was holding it and it jumped out of my arms and it landed in the trash compactor or whatever. Like, you could come up with a better story than I was trying to get on a flight and the guy wouldn't let me. And so I personally chose to flush it down the toilet. If you were trying to not get heat, you would not lie and say, I killed it, but he made me. Like, there's way better excuses for not having a hamster than I killed it, he made me. Chris was my support. Boogaloo? What? Beluga. I don't know why I wrote that as Boogaloo.
Wait, beluga?
Yeah.
Like, as in beluga whale?
I guess.
I don't think that's how you spell it, but that is funny.
Beluga, maybe.
Support beluga.
There
What
it
is a beluga?
A whale.
It's really...
A beluga whale. Oh,
I cannot figure out how you would transport a beluga whale.
You wouldn't. Obviously.
Didn't work out.
Sorry, this is related, I swear.
Sorry, I dragged out your...
Let's see.
Oh, that was Eckerd. Sorry, I dragged out your ending sentences. Your final thoughts.
All right.
It is important to note that some...
Okay, hold on. We'll end on this wonderful note.
That's it! Ground! I wonder if it'll be friends with me. Hello, Ground!
That's what happens when you try to fly with a beluga whale.
Curiously, the only thing that went through the mind of the bowl of petunias as it fell was, oh no, not again. Many have speculated that if...
Sorry. Out of context. Do you know what that's from?
I
you
don't.
can't see it. I'm
Yeah,
so
I actually
sorry.
didn't see it, but,
Gosh, this is rough. This is rough. And it's a whale falling to the earth. It's from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, I haven't seen that in so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he keeps stealing the iPod. That was him again. Ha ha ha.
On demand downpour. I can see the clip now. Yeah, really struggling to load this stream.
Yes, cynical with all the social media scams, says Ben. Yeah, it's rough. There's so much pity me, give me money going on online. It's a shame. Speaking of which, we've opened a Patreon. No, I'm just kidding. Don't pity me, just give me money. No, but that is... What was that? Yeah. Sorry, I know there's the delay. That was the clip from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I forget the context of the whale falling to the earth, but you said beluga. Flight. There's a beluga in full flight. Excellent segue. And with that, whoa, no. We're gonna get out of here. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys showing up for this, our first post-season... Yeah, I wrote that right. Our first post-season episode. Like I said, we'll be doing something at 8 o'clock every Thursday between now and when. And when we start back up again, we'll let you guys know. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to change. We're going to change to Wednesdays? We hadn't talked about that. We're not changing, are we? We're not changing. It's going to be...
I didn't hear about it.
No. We hadn't brought it up. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be Thursdays at 8 o'clock. So just... like the video. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe. We're going to be here with content, chatting with you wonderful people. Oh, hey, look at it. We had a peak of 7. Peak of 7 on the off season. I'll take it. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.